Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel, and thank you for joining. Now, in today's episode, we have our watch list part 2, with the remaining of the games. Okay, the ones that didn't play in the first part, we got the rest of them covered. But the only thing is, I couldn't really watch all the games because the TV, I was getting dizzy just watching television. Who gets dizzy watching TV? I did. Okay, it was giving me vertigo. I had to sit upside down to watch a TV. It was one stage where I turned the TV upside down, then I was seeing it properly because the camera work is absolutely shocking. They must have hired kids. This couldn't be real. I think they were just joking. The coverage was that bad that it's laughable. Okay, absolutely laughable. Anyway, we're gonna go with our review, part 2 of our watch lists. Now, we don't have many stats on the preseason. Well, there's no official stats on the preseason games, and the TV coverage is really bad, which I pointed out earlier. So, to get sort of some decent stats, I've had to go onto Twitter, and my good friend here, Woodsy. Okay, now actually you can follow him, Wood Z Triple Y. It's Woodsy. Just calm down. Now, Woodsy works for Champion Data. Okay, so he's got a good knowledge on how to track scores. He's doing this unofficially. Okay, so he's doing this virtually for no money. Okay, he's doing it for free, and because the coverage is so bad, he has to pause the TV every 2 seconds to see who's got a kick and a handball. So one game can take up to 5 or 6 hours for him. But going with Carlton's kicking breakdowns. Okay, now we have Ollie Hollands has had 2, Sards had 5, Widdering 1, and McGovern 1. So kicking wise, there's not much action. Okay, now CBA breakdown at Carlton. Okay, because we are doing Carlton right now first, and now there's also bad news at Carlton with the young man Smith out for the season. So you probably know this news by the time you watch this video, but it's just sad news. So with Smith out, and he'll have a great recovery, and next year he'll be a gun again. So unfortunately for this year he's not playing, but with Smith out, now the attention grows to the CBA counts. Now, mind you, he didn't have many CBAs anyway. He only had 9%, okay? So it's not like he had a lot of CBAs. So it's not really going to affect the CBA numbers. But looking at the CBA count, and we can see that Hewitt and Chera were the main 2, okay? Then you had Cripps, who will be the main one anyway. But it's good to see that Chera's been up there 63%. So DeConning 36% and Pitonet 40%. Now that's a worry. So when we go to Carlton, when we go into our team and go on the watch list, let's bring out Carlton now. Okay, which players are we going to watch? Okay, now from Carlton in defense, there's nobody. Okay, there's nobody here that I like in defense. So I'm skipping the entire Carlton defense. In the midfield, who's there to watch? Okay, well, you can say Cripps, but they got the round 12 bye. Okay, so I'm probably not even going to think of Cripps. Okay, or none of the players, unless they're going to be players that can make some money. Okay, and they would sort of trade them out if they can sort of average 105-ish and make even 110, hopefully, but I can't see it happening. But 105 and get it to about 525, 30k, and then you can sort of upgrade these mid prices as stepping stones. So the players of interest are Chera and Hollands. Is there anyone else at Carlton that is of interest? Now, Lord has been mentioned, may get more time now because Jagger Smith isn't playing. Well, we're going to take Smith out anyway, but Lord's price very inconvenient, 253k, very awkward price, so probably not them two either. Hollands, an also awkward price at 333k, and the boy can't kick. All the Carlton supporters I speak to don't like Hollands as a pick, okay? Now, the only people that are picking Hollands are non-Carlton supporters. Now, Well, mind you, he's only in 2% of the team, so there's not many that own him anyway. So I actually say Hollins is out of this also. So I only have Chera in here. Uh, in the rucks, okay, we had the Conning, but there's Pitternet. Okay, now Pitternet is playing. It's Hawaii, so I've taken the Conning out. Okay, is there anyone else from Carlton in the forward line that I like? And there isn't. There's nobody. Okay, there's no. I mean, you can say Jack Silvani, but it's awkward price as well. Not for me. Okay, so that's about it at Carlton. There's only one player on my watch list, and that's Adam Chera. Now we go to St Kilda, okay, and it's a different story to what we saw at Carlton, okay. All the juices at St Kilda. Okay, now check this out. We got CBA breakdown. Steele at 95 point. He just lived there, okay. McRae at 86. This is a good thing. They're playing their main midfielders as a CBAs. Now Boyd was the ruckman. Very impressed with Boyd. We're gonna go through the stats in a minute. Garcia, I liked him a lot. Boxshell, I never heard of him. Okay, who this boy? Okay, Boxshell, but we can call him Box Hill. Okay, Box Hill, 50% CBAs. He actually looked very impressive, and Heath had 18%. Mainly played as a forward. I'm hoping that Heath gets replaced by Marshall and this sticks with Boyd 81% and Marshall up forward. This will be a dream for me, but obviously we don't know this yet. But let's have a look at some of the St Kilda players now to add onto the watch list. Now, before I go there, I just wanted to share the kick-ins, and it was pretty much shared amongst everybody, okay? NWM had 3 of them, Webster 2, everyone else had 1 each, so very, very much shared around. But now let's go to our team now. Now, who at St Kilda is going to be on the watch list? Now, Sinclair is a primo, not playing yet, but I've still got him on the watch list. I want to see him, okay? Hopefully, he's going to be very relevant. He's owned by 16% at the moment, so a lot of you are still hanging on to him. So let's see how we go with Sinclair. Wangani Milera is a cheaper option than Sinclair, and it's at 543k. So we're going to add him on the watch list for now, okay? Is there anyone else at St Kilda in defence? We have Travalia, who sort of only played the last quarter, but very impressed a lot. Looked very good. So Travalia, let's put him on this watch list. Is there anyone else? Well, there's a little boy here, O'Connell. He impressed me so much. Now, he could be a sub-risk, okay, but he's 119k, and he was playing on the wing. Moving up and down the wing, he was pretty much everywhere. He's got speed to burn. He looked really promising. And at 119k, that's a good sign. Now, in the midfield at St Kilda, Jack Steele could be back to the old Jack Steele, okay? Let me show you which Jack Steele could be getting. Now, Jack Steele in 2020 and 2021, especially in 2021, he averaged 126. Let's go down to 2021. Okay, he was a scoring machine. Okay, you can see here. Look at this run. 154, 140, 126, 132, 154, 149, 140. Scoring machine. Now, in that year, 2021, well, the following year, when it came to 2022, his starting price was 685k. Okay, so he wasn't cheap. He's virtually more expensive than the Bond. Okay, now, 2021, his price peaked. Well, it started at 658, sort of dropped by the time we got down to the buy rounds, and then skyrocketed back to 694. So he's virtually, he was a gun to have in 2021. Well, I didn't have him. I can't remember many years that I did own Steele, but can still produce the same old magic that he used to have, because he's only 29 years old. He's not old. He's actually primed at the right age now. He's got McRae helping him. So I've got, and he's, let me show you something. He's owned by only 1% of people. Okay, so I actually like Steele a lot. So I'll put him in a team. I think it's a steal. Okay, at 585k. Coming in, other midfielders to think about. Well, there isn't many because we know that Pooh is missing, okay? With Pooh missing, Garcia seems to have Pooh's role. and Garcia, he looked really good. Okay, I'm very impressed with Garcia. So we've got the meeting with his manager on Monday, or what's tomorrow, and we're going to discuss contract terms. Probably a 13-week contract with Garcia, but we're going to see if we can keep this role now. Because keep in mind, we still got a few players to come in. I'm not sure Paddy Dow, Zach Jones, Winhager, if they're going to keep that role in the midfield, or if Garcia's the man now. But going further down, because they got so many players of interest. You got Max Hall, okay, played a bit of forward. He looked decent, okay, so I didn't mind Max Hall. We got Hasty. He looked really good, okay, playing halfback. And Boxall playing in the midfield. Now, he looked like a gun, okay. I've never heard of him. But for a rookie at 113k, he looked so good. So we'll see if these players play in round one. But St Kilda's going to have a lot of Supercoach relevant players from the looks of it. If we go into the rucks, we got Boyd. Okay, now I just need Roll Marshall to be in the same team as Boyd, and I'm going to have Boyd at flex, no hesitation. So just got to see how Marshall plays. Now in the forward line at St Kilda, we got, well, he's playing in the midfield, but in our forward line, we got Jack McRae. Now Jack McRae could almost be a captain option. Okay, you're paying $392k for him. He had 35 touches. Okay, and he and Steele were going nuts. So McRae in the team is actually good for Steele. So I love McRae's role, and this is the old McRae. He's back. So who else is at St Kilda? Let's have a look. Well, I don't think there's anybody else. Okay, I think that's pretty much it, unless I miss somebody. Okay, but I can't see anyone. That's pretty much it at St Kilda. Now, if you go to Carlton, well, we've got Moya here, but I don't think it's much Supercoach relevance. We've got Pitanet here, who's a party pooper, okay? We've got the Doc here, 16 disposals, not enough for a midfielder, so probably a pass on the Doc. He didn't get the role that we wanted him to get. We wanted him a half-back. He didn't get that role. We've got the Conning here. So he got 18 disposals at 55%. Whereas the St Kilda Ruckman had 12 disposals at 93%. So the 12 disposals that the Saints Ruckman had, which was Boyd, was much better than what the Conning had. So Boyd's game was actually better than the Conning's. Okay, work that one out. Unfortunately, this young man had a decent game. It wasn't like a standout game, but played 3 quarters, and the injury is just sad. Okay, so unfortunate for the young man. And Chera didn't impress much. Okay, had a full game, only 16 disposals at 75%. Okay, with a goal, 65 fantasy. I'd say that's probably about a 75 to 80 Supercoach score. So this game didn't impress much, but let's not take much out of it. Okay, let's wait for his next game. But it's not a good sign. Ollie Hollins, 17 disposals at 64%. A defender going at 64% is disaster, okay? Is not good. Okay, so pass on him. We're now going to go to the Melbourne and North Melbourne game. So let's change this now, and let's go to Melbourne. Okay, now Melbourne, and this is an important game in regards to players to watch. Now, if we go back to Woodsy again, okay, now kick-ins. Bowie had all of them, okay, but Bowie will get nothing, okay, when the main man comes back. So Bowie will get nothing at all. So don't worry about the kick-ins here. CBAs is the interesting one. We got Rivers at 74%. Oliver only had 48%, so he'll get an increase there. Okay, they had the ruckman was Campbell, and so it didn't do much. We had Pickett in there at 45%. And Langford at 45%. So good signs for both Pickett and Langford having more midfield minutes. Now, we're going to go to North Melbourne in a minute. So actually, let's go further down. Look at some of the players, okay? Aidan Johnson, okay, we got here. He had 5 kicks, 5 handballs, 10 touches in only 1 quarter. So keep an eye on Aidan Johnson, okay? Now, let's go further down. Harvey Langford had 20 disposals in a full game. That's a good sign for a young rookie. And he had 68 fantasy points. I think Supercoach-wise, at 80%, he would have had a lot more. So probably about an 80, 85. Lindsay, full game, only 11 disposals at 90%. That's not enough touches, full game for Lindsay, so I'm not sure about Lindsay. Trent Rivers had 22 disposals at 68%. Now, keep in mind, that's 103 fantasy points, 5 tackles, 8 marks. Okay, you don't get scores for marks in Supercoach, so that's taken out. He had 22 disposals with 68%. That's Rivers. Where if you go further back, you got another player here that's gone. It's Langford. It's gone at 20 disposals at 80%. So actually, Langford had a better game than the young boy. Okay, now Cozzy Pickett's one to watch, but he's an awkward price in the forward line, so I'll probably pass on. He may be good for if you're going to play drafts. Keep an eye on Cozzy Pickett. Clayton Oliver, 21 disposals, didn't do much. Rested in the last quarter. Probably going to go for a 30-35 disposal game if you count. And he didn't really do much, so it's not a bad effort. Okay, 5 kicks, 16 handballs. And I don't mind him having more handballs than kicks because it's the hard ball gets that count, okay? So Oliver looked decent. So on our watch list at Melbourne, in our forward line, we could say Cozzy Pickett, but he's $395K and it's at an awkward price, okay? And so I'll probably pass on him, okay? Actually, I'm going to take him out now. Is there anyone else in the forward line that impressed at Melbourne? You can say Bailey Laurie because he had a bit of mid minutes, so maybe they're going to use him, but could be a sub, so I'm not sure on Laurie. We did say Aiden Johnson had 1 quarter, he had 10 touches, so maybe Aiden Johnson could be the man. So we'll keep an eye on this, okay? So leave him there for now. Let's watch him. Was there anyone else? Well, in the ruck department, there was no Gawn, okay? So in their ruck department, they had Campbell as a ruck at 147K. Now, if Campbell can get ruck minutes, we're laughing, okay? 147K, but that's not going to be the case. He's going to play in the VFL. Gawn is fit and healthy, so Campbell won't be playing. If we go into the midfield, Petrarca didn't play. Viney didn't play. Rivers are going to put in the defence in a minute. So in the midfield, Langford is one to watch, okay? We got Lindsay as one to watch, and the main one, okay, is Clayton Oliver. Okay, he could be back, so we're gonna keep an eye on Oliver and see if he can continue his good form. And Trent Rivers is another one to watch. Okay, 462K. He was playing behind the ruckman, which is a position that I like for a ruckman that's going to run onto the ball. He's not like an Oliver where he gets the hard ball, but he's the one that receives from Oliver. Playing behind the ruck, he runs onto the ball. So his role is decent in that midfield. Hopefully, he did look a bit fumbly, okay? Didn't look as clean, so I want to see him more cleaner than that. 1 touch grabs better. He looked a bit 3 touches before he picked up the ball. So it's pre-season, so we don't expect much. Now, we go to North Melbourne, and there's CBA breakdowns, and you can see here, Powell and Phillips were the main two, okay? LDU, Parker, Sheasels didn't get much action. Sheasels played 3rd quarter in the forward line, and in the last quarter played in defence, so he was pretty much everywhere, okay? So, but his role surely will have to be midfield, you would think, okay? And take note that there's no, if you go further in, McKercher only 6%, so it didn't really do much, okay? Maybe it's 2 appearances if you go by the 3.2%, which will be 1 appearance. So McKercher only 2 appearances in the CBA, so it looks like he's not going to get any. He's going to play wing and half forward. Now, with the kick-ins, Caleb Daniel owned them. He virtually took all of them, okay? Maybe the other 2 that he didn't take, maybe these 2 were maybe he was on the bench and these 2 had to take them. Otherwise, Daniel had the lots. He owns the kick-ins, okay? And at North Melbourne, we've seen Aaron Hall, we've seen McKercher, we've seen the Fish, okay, what they can do when they have kick-ins. Caleb Daniel could actually be captain material. We'll see how he plays at North Melbourne. He can go 130s. Now, going to the North Melbourne team, we're going to put in here Sheasels, but Sheasels is a primo, okay? We're not going to talk about Sheasels because we already know what Sheasels can do, but on the watch list is McKercher because McKercher has a different role than last year, and we've seen it now. Only 2% CBAs, no kick-ins. So he's playing wing half forward. So he's become very dangerous to own at 476k. It's a very awkward price. He's going to be a gun player, but not Supercoach relevant, I don't think. So we'll see more of him soon. Now, other players to keep an eye on at North Melbourne in the forward line, and there's nobody else. Okay, that's pretty much it. Whitlock would have been one, but he problem with Whitlock is he didn't play. Okay, so it didn't work out. So Whitlock, I really wanted to see him, but he's not gonna. It looks like he's not gonna play. He's young. He's a baby giraffe right now, so he's not ready for action. Just calm it down. Now, I'm going to pass the midfield because all their midfielders are actually forwards, okay? Actually, before I go there, Sherry also we're not going to talk about because we already know what Sherry can do, okay? So let's not talk about Sherry now. He wasn't on the watch list ever because we know what he is capable of doing. But Parker is one that was on the watch list at 343k. It's a good price. That's cheap as chips, okay? The problem with Parker is Simpkin didn't play, okay? Now, that I really wanted to see Parker with Simpkin in the team. We didn't see it. Parker only had 58% CBAs. I thought he would have a lot more, okay? I thought so. I even went on the Al Payton's podcast, and I gave Parker a big rap saying that he should go nuts with Wardlaw out. I take that back now. Maybe I was wrong, okay? Because it doesn't seem like Parker's going to be that man. Parker's just going to play forward and mid, not 70 to 80% mid that I was expecting. So we'll just keep him there for now, but I'm a bit scary of him right now. Who else is there to watch at North Melbourne? Well, Simpkin we haven't seen yet, okay? Now, Caleb Daniel, just an absolute lock, okay? At 269k, could almost captain him. He's going to go crazy. So this is nuts. I've never ever captained a player that cost 269k. So he could be the first one I've ever done. So we'll see how he goes. And at North Melbourne, there's pretty much nobody else, okay? So I did have a massive list of North Melbourne players at the start of the year, but it's drizzled down. It's become a list of St Kilda players right now. The North Melbourne players, the only ones that are good are the keepers. Okay, that's your Sherrys and your Cheezels. But that story's for another day. So we're going to talk about Port Adelaide first. Now, who's on the watch list? Now, keep in mind, Joe Berry had 5 kicks and 2. It's not much, okay? That's in 3 quarters, had 7 disposals. So don't expect big scores from Berry, okay? He's going to be a very slow cash burn for us. Ryan Burton in 3 quarters, he actually disappointed me, okay? Only had 13 disposals. And at 38%, okay, it was terrible. So I was actually shocked how bad he was. So Burton, I was expecting to get the Houston role, but it's not going to be him. Sam Powell-Pepper, 9 disposals at 44% in 3 quarters is not good, okay? 5 kicks, 4 handballs. He's not going to do much, okay? And very expensive cash cow, so I'd probably pass on him. Kane Farrell, in 3 quarters, only 7 disposals, and some of them were kick-ins, okay? So it was actually disappointing. Didn't see much. Zach Butters, we don't need to see what he did because we already know how good he is, okay? Connor Rosie, the same thing. Jet, okay? Now, going further down, the Horny Man keeps impressing. 19 disposals in only 3 quarters of footy, so he's locked in our teams. And that's pretty much it at Port Adelaide. So let's go to our team now with Port Adelaide. Now, who did we lock in? Okay, at Port Adelaide. Now, well, not necessarily locked, but on our watch list. Well, even though some of these are locked in. Now, let's go to our forward line. And a player that should be locked in is the Horny Man. Okay, the Horny Man is ready to explode. Okay, now just calm it down. Okay, now he can go nuts. Now, if you're going further down at Port Adelaide, other players to watch in that forward line were rookies like Joe Berry and SPP. But 180k you're paying for SPP. That's big bucks. So I'd probably take him off the list. Berry, I keep here for now if you can't find somebody. But if you can find, if you see a Johnson playing at 113k, you better just get the Johnson, okay, than the Berry at 140k, okay. Now, if we go into the midfield, I mean, we're not going to look at the Butterses and the Wineses and the Rosies because we already know what they can do. Okay, now that's why we're going to take out the Horny Man out of here as well and McRae because I need to make more space here now. So in the midfield, when it comes to rookies, was there anyone that really caught our eye? Okay, I was really wanted to see Moraes, but that didn't happen. Okay, now there's nothing. Okay, there's nothing in Port Adelaide there. So let's go into the defence. And Farrell was a disappointment. I wish I seen him have 30 touches and go bananas. Okay, but not the case. So maybe he did us a favour. So there's nothing here, nothing to see virtually, because we didn't see Sin, and a lot of people had Sin at the start of the year. It didn't happen. So that's it for Port Adelaide. We now go over to Adelaide, and Sid Draper in 3/4 of footy had 6 disposals. Okay, now he's a Jets. He's going to be a gun. Okay, but is he ready? That's another question. Okay, now we just saw what happened to young bodies. Okay, young 18-year-olds, 17, 19-year-olds. They're not built yet like tanks. So I would be shocked if they put Sid Draper in their midfield. I would say they would have him more in the forward line. They've already got midfielders that play in this position. Dan Curtin, however, is a different story. Although he only had 7 touches, it didn't do much. Okay, he looks like the Bont. Okay, the way he's built. So I'm hoping they give him a good role. Okay, I don't think they are going to give him a good role, but I'm hoping they're going to give him something decent so he can score well. But at the moment, 7 touches is not enough. But we're going to keep him on the watch list. Okay, now, Rory Laird, we don't need to talk about. Okay, we know what Rory Laird can do. James Peatling is one of interest. And in 3/4, he had 17 touches. Okay, and only 2 tackles. This tackle count will go to about 6. So he looked good, okay? He didn't get as many CBAs as I wanted. He had a lot of wing time, which has worried me a little bit. It's actually put me off, but we'll just keep an eye on him still. Saligo, he looked like Superman, okay? 20 disposals at 80%. He never goes at 80%, so his kicking or disposal efficiency has improved. So he looked good, okay, Saligo. And Dawson, we know what Dawson can do, okay? He's a Jet. Milera was one that I was interested in, but he played 3/4, only 9 touches, so it wasn't enough. 36 fantasy points. So I need Milera. Actually, I think Woodsy did say that he made a mistake. This was 2/4. So it was actually 9 disposals in 2/4, which equates roughly to around about 20 disposals in a full game. So Milera could be an option, okay? Keep an eye on Milera. Because he was in the right places at the right times. And if he can get 20 touches a game, he could be decent. He's only 250k, okay? And that's pretty much it for Adelaide. Now, let's go back to our sheet now. So on the watch list at Adelaide, okay, who we got now in defence on the watch list? We're going to keep a close eye on Milera, okay? I really like what I saw, okay, of Milera. I didn't watch the first quarter. I only watched it because I had to go to Coles. Okay, we're looking for spuds at Coles. So I missed on completely the first quarter. And I went and watched the second quarter with the dodgy camera work. And I didn't watch the third quarter, but apparently he didn't play anyway. But in the second quarter, when I did watch him, he was everywhere. Okay, so maybe in the first quarter he didn't touch the ball. In the second quarter he must have, because what I was seeing was a lot better than those stats suggest. Okay, but then again, he might not have touched it in the first, which means that most of those stats came in the second quarter. But he looked good. Okay, I really liked him. Now, in the midfield, players of interest to take note of. Well, Saligo. Problem with Saligo is he's competing against players like Oliver, like Chera. So he needs to score. I actually think he could probably score as good as Chera. Okay, probably even as good as Oliver. So if he can go at 105, It can be a jet, but he only scored 100 twice last year, so it does worry me a little bit. So just keep him on the watch list for now. Anyone else? And we're not going to talk about Dawson, okay? So we already know about Dawson. Anyone else? Well, Peatling is one that we're going to keep an eye on. Just that wing roll, that it bothers me. Sid Draper, okay, we like. Now, I need to get rid of some players again, okay? Now, let's get rid of Oliver for now, okay? Actually, let's get rid of these mid-prices for now. Going to make up more room for the other rookies coming through. In the ruck department, there was nothing. In the forward line, Racheli is an awkward price. Well, we do like Curtin, okay? He looked good, okay? That's about it at Adelaide. Let's just go straight to Sydney and GWS. Okay, now at Sydney, kick-ins, Roberts only had one. Blakey had all of them. Greedy Guts, Blakey took them all, and Florent took two. So a bit of concern there for Roberts owners. Okay, they were panicking. Okay, now for the Giants. Whitfield didn't take many either. Okay, it was shared with Himmelberg. Keep in mind, I didn't watch this game at all. Okay, I slept in, okay? I was too busy watching the soccer the night before, so I didn't watch this game. But 3 kick-ins each, so I don't take much note of these first practice games. It's the second one that I really watch closer. So these are just a brief rundown on these games. Midfield minutes, Bedford at 72% is a watch, okay? I need to watch him because the coach has said that he may not tag this year. He may actually play as a pure mid. Okay, now this could be interesting. So Bedford's going to be a watch. Callahan, another watch. Leak was one that I really wanted to see, and Rousden didn't do much in that midfield. Leak only played 1 quarter, from what I heard. CBA breakdown at Sydney, and Sheldrick was the one I wanted, but only 33%. That's not much. That's disappointing. We had Warner have more, Rowbottom. I mean, you expect that. And you've still got Mills to come in. So Sheldrick, I don't think is going to get much mid-time. So that was disappointing. And you can see here, Leak in 20 minutes had 20 fantasy points, but he kicked a goal there. So that's where he got half his points from. Josh Kelly, we don't worry about. Connor Stone, okay, now this is a big one. 22 disposals, 1 tackle, this is big, okay. Connor Stone is a lock in our teams. Finn Callahan, I'm still got questions about. His prices are awkward, and you still got Tom Green to come back into the team. But he did have 25 touches, okay. Now, Kieran Briggs, 11 disposals, it's not enough. We saw I need Ruckman to go at 15 to 20, okay? So, but he did get rested early in the 4th, so probably was going at that rate. So he did okay, I suppose. Lockie Whitfield, only 16 disposals, but it doesn't matter. I know what Whitfield can do, so that's not important. Toby Green, I wanted to see more mid-time from him. He didn't get it, so it doesn't matter. Toby's going to play forward. Warner, we don't care about. Matt Roberts, he still had 20 touches, okay, and only 1 kick-in. That's a promising sign, okay? And what did he score? 67. That's fantasy. He only had 2 tackles. It doesn't show disposal efficiency, but 20 touches is pretty good, because if he had the kick-ins, another, say, 5 or 6, it could have been 25, 26, possibly a good game. So Roberts not too bad, okay, this game. Ben Patton played a full game. Okay, I'm actually liking this. Had 13 disposals, 4 marks. He's 130k. We're just hoping that he can play. Okay, Sheldrick, 17 disposals in a full game. Okay, but not much mid-time. It's a worry. He may have a half-forward role, but if he plays, we're going to 160k. It could be okay. So we'll see how we go with Sheldrick. Cody Angove is an interesting one. And first quarter, 41 fantasy points. He went nuts. Okay, now keep an eye on Cody Angove. Now let's get out GWS and Sydney. All right, both together, because we're doing 2-in-1 now. In defense, who's of interest? Now we're going to skip all these. We do have... Sorry, that's forward line. in defence. Okay, now, we're not going to put Whitfield there. We already know about Whitfield. Okay, now, Matt Roberts is one of interest. Okay, but I don't have enough room for rookies, so I'm going to take him out for now. Okay, but he is one of interest. We have Callum Mills that didn't play. Okay, so let's hope he plays round one. Apparently, it's a very minor injury, so let's see. Maybe he'll play. Is there anybody else here that we liked? Well, Ben Patton was one of them. Okay, and we also liked. Well, we didn't really like Leak, but Leak played 1 quarter. It's not a good sign, but let's hope he gets more game time. And that's pretty much it in defence anyway. In the midfield, on the watch list, who do we have? Who are we going to look? Well, Callahan at 441k. It's a very awkward price. So you got a lot of these players now at 440k-ish. So probably going to pass on him. Bedford. Now, I'm going to put him in the forward line. So I'll get to Bedford in a minute. Is there anybody else? Well, Sheldrick was one that we can watch, okay? Rousden, we can watch him, but he didn't do much, okay? But we'll still watch him. And Angrove was the one that really impressed. But we're going to put him in the... I'm running out of space, so we'll put Angrove in the forward line, okay? Let's go back over here. Angrove can go there. Anyone else in the forward line? Okay, let's take it. Let's go up. Stone is a lock. Okay, you got to get Stone. And we've already used Patton in defence, so we're not going to go Patton now. Have I missed anybody? That's pretty much it. Well, we did talk about the bedman, okay? The Bedford, okay? The man that sleeps, okay? So the man that is the bedman, I'm not sure. 330k. It's a very awkward price. Let's watch him. If he can get pure midfield minutes, non-tagging role, we're going to see it in round 0. If he doesn't tag in round 0 and gets midfield minutes, this could go nuts. Okay, so keep an eye on Bedford. He's not even owned by many people, only 1%. Okay, no one owns him. Okay, he's an unwanted child right now. Just come down. Now we're going to go to Brisbane Lions. Okay, now we got well, not interested in Lachie Neale because we know what Lachie Neale can do. Okay, now actually we're going to also look at some of the Suns players. So there's all mixed up here. So Lachie Neale, don't worry about it. Will Graham, 2 quarters. Probably price is a bit awkward now. I think probably pass on him. Noah Anderson, we already know about him. He's the captain as well, so could have a big year. Jared Witts, we're not interested. Matt Rowell. Looked like he played a bit of forward role, so I wasn't really impressed with Matt Rowell's role. Lombard is injured. Could be out for a few months. We don't know how bad the injury is, so we're probably going to take him off the list now. Lombard, McAndrew, probably not interested. Dev Robertson played in the grand final, so you'd assume that he'd get a lot of game time, but it doesn't look like he only had 2 quarters in the second game. Could be a massive sub-risk, so I'd probably pass on him. Now, at Brisbane Lions, okay, players to impress. Now, I'm going to make up some more room here, so I'm going to take out Peatling and Draper now. There's nothing left here. So, players of interest. Will Ashcroft. He's going to interest all of us, okay? So, good price, 440k. Even though we said it's an awkward price for a lot of the other players, I don't think it's an awkward price for Will Ashcroft. So, I liked Ashcroft at this price, but let's go take him out for now. Let's go further down. There's Levi Ashcroft. He had 20 touches, okay? So, he could go nuts, okay? Now, that's one. Then you got... well, that's it from the Lions. You got Levi Ashcroft here. In defence... You got Zorko the Magnificent, okay, but we're not worried about him. We know what he can do. Is there anyone else that interested us? And to be honest, there's nobody else here. Okay, let's go to the forward line now. Okay, we've got no players left. Let's now take out Curtin, Parker, and Caleb Daniel now. Let's make up some more room. In the forward line, who interested us? Okay, and now let's go further down. And to be honest, there's nobody, okay? There's no one. Also, forgot to mention that in the midfield, also have Dunkley, okay, which we didn't speak about, but we already know about these 2 players. Now, let's go to the Gold Coast Suns. Now, at the Suns, there was a lot of players of interest. I'm going to go straight to the forward line. I want to talk about one boy, okay, and that's when I find him, okay, it's Humpty. Now Humpty, a 270k, had a lot of midfield minutes. He virtually swapped with Rowell, and the coach did say, well, Hardwick did say that Humpty's going to play more midfield this year. So keep an eye on Humpty. He gets to play round 0, so you get to see him in full action. Okay, you get to see him again next week, but keep an eye on Humpty. That's why I'll just put Rowell there for now. Was there anyone else in this forward line that we liked? And there was, but he's not going to play, so we're not sure. There's nobody else. I don't think there's anyone else of interest. Okay, I wanted to see a few players that didn't play. Let's have a look now in the midfield. We already know about the primos. They're not interesting. Okay, we can get them later on, but there's nobody else of interest here as well. So let's go now to defense. Okay, there's not much from Gold Coast either. I don't actually think I've got a Gold Coast player in my team at the moment. Again, at Gold Coast, we've got Weller on the wing, so that's not a good role. Farah I wanted to see, didn't see. Jepson I really wanted to see, I didn't see him either. That's pretty much, there's nobody. We now go to Collingwood, and, well, we're not going to worry about Darcy Cameron, okay? Dan Houston played 2 quarters, 7 disposals. I was shocked. Okay, I didn't see him. Okay, I was looking for him. I actually had to ask friends, "Is he playing?" I honestly couldn't see him. I did see he got the 7 disposals, but it didn't impress. Okay, so maybe he'll do much better next time. I expected Dan Houston to go nuts. That didn't happen. Ed Allen played 2 quarters. Had his 8 disposals, a 200k rookie, so could be good value. Okay, but he's not for me. Jacob Ryan had 2 quarters, 10 disposals, so we'll see how he goes. We're going back to the Lions now, okay? Josh Dacos, played in defense, 2 quarters, 11 disposals. I mean, we're not seeing much, okay? So the one that I wanted to see the most was this boy, Perryman. Played 2 quarters, had 8 disposals. I liked his role, okay? And he's in my team right now, Perryman. Zorko the Magnificent, he's just magnificent, okay? Going further down, Nick Dacos, he went nuts. 2 quarters, had 18 touches. Last year in a practice game against Richmond, he had 100 points at half time. So Dacos loves playing practice matches, okay? I can promise you that now. Humpty, we already spoke about. Now, in these practice games, they mean nothing to me, okay? The next ones mean something to me. So even though I'm making this video because it's content and I sort of want to share what I've seen, whatever you've seen, take it with a grain of salt, okay? Don't really press on what you've seen so far because everything means nothing, okay? Now who impressed at Collingwood for us? Well, the only player that I was watching was Perryman. I was also watching Houston, but I couldn't see him. So I was watching Perryman. He impressed a lot. In the midfield, we already know what the Dacos can do, but the player of interest was Ed Allen, and it seems to get a lot of midfield minutes, had 50%, so he did really well. In the forward line at Collingwood, there's nothing of interest, unfortunately, so nobody that we can actually lock into our team, so nothing for Collingwood. There was one player, William Hayes, that I wanted to see, but that didn't happen. So Reece McInnes, okay, he could be one. Okay, now playing in defence is 200k. Keep an eye on him. It's an awkward price. Okay, it's a rookie price, and playing in defence possibly don't worry about him. Okay, not that interesting. That's pretty much it. Now, if you've gone through all this mumble jumble that I've gone through all this team, next week's watch list is massive. Okay, this week's watch list is not that important. A lot of these players are going to get scrubbed off this watch list, but next week we are going to really watch, because I want to see heat maps. I don't see heat maps. I don't get to watch it on proper coverage. It's really hard. You're not at the game, so you can't really get a good feel of this game. You don't feel the atmosphere. There's something missing when I'm watching these games. But next week is a different story. Okay, well, we're gonna turn our TV upside down if we have to, and we're gonna look at these players like we've never seen before. We're gonna study every single one of them and go through the whole heat maps of all of them. If we do get heat maps, so we'll find out. Now, if you've gone this far, okay, now Scodfather group. Let's go in here. Scodfather group. The code is 916402, and as you can see, we've got over 1,200 customers. Okay, you're going to be very happy customers, because this group is going to go off. Last year we had 6 players that were ranked number 1 in this group, and all you got to do is you can actually go on game day. Okay, you can go on game day. Okay, go head to head, but you can't see it now. You can sort of add a player from this group. Okay, so for example, if you go see all teams, okay, and you want to compare scores. Let's say I want to compare scores of Dossie. Okay, so what happens is on game day, Dossie's team comes up here and my team comes up here, so I can sort of compare how I'm going against Dossie on this game day. So it's actually really, really handy to be in pretty much any group. Okay, and well, our group having 6 players in the top, at the top is actually very handy. So that's one benefit. Okay, now, so that's our group. So if you missed the code, let's go back here again. Okay, leagues. So that's the code. It's 916402. Now, going further down, right, as you can see, I've got no leagues left. Okay, now the magic number. Now, this is 303364. Now, every week, I'll pick a number. I'll say, you've got to crack this number. You've got to make sure you pass it, okay? So, if I say, let's say round 1, I say you have to score more than 1,800 points. If you score less or 1,800 exactly, your team gets deleted from this app, okay? So, you're no longer eligible. The last man standing, okay, after 24 rounds of passing all these magic numbers will be the winner, and they'll win something, okay? Now, I don't know what they're going to win yet. Now, my last league, now I've added 4 people in this league because they're friends, okay, so I had to add them in. So, our last league is this one, okay, and it's Scodfather Cup 10, 558304. After this league, I'll have no more leagues left. Okay, so this is it. And so good luck if you can jump in and join, and I hope you can get in. The only other league that we have is a cash league. Okay, now I'm not going to give the code out because you've got to pay for that one. But at the moment, we have 270 people in there, so that's $27,000 right now. Just coming down. Anyway, that's all for today. Hopefully our next set of watch lists are going to be of better quality and more detail, because we're going to go through every game one by one. But that's all for today. Thank you for joining, and remember one thing. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Ciao for now.
That's all, folks.